Welcome to the Startup Grind. Well, welcome to Startup Grind.
Oh, thank you for having me here. That's fun.
We would love to just start out and hear the story of Houzz and how you got to where you are. It's one of these kind of seems like it was an overnight success, 5 years in the making, every day and day in and day out. Tell us, Houzz was never supposed to be a company. First of all, tell us why that is. How did it begin?
Well, Houzz started as a pet project when Alon, my husband, and I got our first home and had big, big dreams of how wonderful it's going to be to create our dream home. Unfortunately, the dream was pretty much a nightmare, and we figured out that must be a better way of doing it. We started talking to many people about it, and Houzz was born because of that. And it was born as our own project, so for a long, long time we kept running it as our own pet project. No investors, no company, no people that helped us, it was just us. But it was actually really, really good, because the company that was born afterwards was a very healthy, happy one, I think.
Our hashtag is Startup Grind. How did you start? Yes, we can. Thank you for letting us know that.
Can you hear me better now?
What if I do this? How about that?
Can you hear me better now? Great.
Carly, can you hustle over there and do that? Thank you. So where did you begin? If it wasn't a startup, was it some sort of, were you using a wiki? Were you kind of pulling stuff together, or at what point did you start actually building the product for Houzz?
So it was all about the product from the beginning, because we figured out that must be a better way of doing this. And we talked to many people, both homeowners like us and professionals from the industry. It basically started from architects and designers in the Bay Area. The homeowners were our friends from our kids' school. And everybody told us that we're not alone. This is a terrible process. Homeowners were frustrated, not having enough information, inspiration, not being able to find great professionals that they can trust, and not being able to source the right products and materials, plan the budget and actually keep it. And it goes on and on and on. How frustrating something that was supposed to be so much fun and beautiful, building your dream home, became to so many people. And the professionals that we talked with, the architects and designers, kind of felt the same. They said, you homeowners, you see a beautiful picture in a magazine, you call us, and you think that we can replicate this for $50,000 while these people paid millions of dollars. It doesn't make sense. These people need to be educated. So it was broken, and we felt that with the right technology and building the right communication tools for all these people, we can do something better. And so it started just in the local community. And what happened there was something that we didn't expect. But it started growing organically. Our professionals from the Bay Area told their colleagues out of the Bay Area. So we started getting emails from Chicago and LA and New York and people from all over, and not just architects and designers. It was other professionals as well, contractors, landscapers, many different type of professionals that involved in the process. And homeowners in the Bay Area started telling their professionals and their friends. And I think that at some point when we got a phone call from one of our friends from school, they told us, guess what happened today? And I said, what happened? And she said, my sister from Oregon just called me, and she bought a house, and somebody in Oregon told her about an amazing website that she should use when she's going to start the remodeling. And this is Houzz. And I told her, are you kidding me? I'm one of the first users. Our kids are best friends. And I said, really, in Oregon? She said, you are a big hit in Oregon. I said, wow, that's amazing. But it was just the two of us at this point.
Who was the first customer other than you? Do you remember who that was?
It was a group that came together, again, the friends from...
The friends from school.
From school,
yeah. And what did you have to convince people? I mean, what did you say? Everyone's had that experience at the very beginnings of their product where, no one really knows what it is, no one necessarily believes in it. Well, what did you say to convince people that they should just give it a try?
People really share that passion of building dream homes. People really wanted to have something that will allow them to have fun and have a productive and great process. So it wasn't hard to convince them at all. The opposite, they were very thrilled to be part of that process. They were truly excited that somebody is going to build technology for this industry.
I mean, one of the things too that's, I was thinking about this today about Houzz is, a lot of entrepreneurs build a product and you wonder, well, I wonder how big the market is. I wonder how big an opportunity is this. Well, Houzz, there's quite a few people that actually live in a house that I'm aware of.
That's a good point.
Of some sort.
But we really didn't think about it at this point. All what we thought about was, this is something that people obviously need. We need it. And we are not alone. And we need to build something, if we do it, we need to build something that people will truly, truly love and be excited using. And that was it. At this point, we didn't think of how much money we're going to make out of it. We actually thought, when we started getting traction, we should stay away early days from monetizing. Not because getting some money is a bad thing, but we felt that the focus should be building the product and giving the entire attention just to our community members and nothing else. And it really paid off later on. So.
It seems like a lot of the great companies as well, they start so effortlessly. It is just, it feels so organic. Airbnb, the guys needed somewhere to stay. Houzz, you needed to remodel your dream home. Zuckerberg, he needed a date. I wonder, how, if I'm an entrepreneur, how do I plan for that? Or can I not? If I want to build something that the world needs and loves, how do I create something that is just kind of has that organic momentum and helps me get it going?
Well, I think you just nailed it. People need to build something that they are truly passionate about. And the truth to say is, it's so hard, and it's not going to get better later on. It's just getting harder and harder. But if you're doing something that you truly, truly believe in, and you are very, very passionate about it, that's going to help you to, go through good times and bad times. If you're only doing it just to, make some money out of it, forget it. And somebody gave us an advice early days when we decided to turn it into a real company, and I really appreciated that advice because it's so true. And that advice was, don't enter if all what you want is to exit. And it's something that I truly believe in. And because we live that passion every single day, we're having fun. We enjoy the journey. We're not looking for an exit or a certain point in time that something will happen. Every day something happens. Every day I meet with community members. You just said it. I came back from London. We just launched Houzz in the UK. And so that's the first official platform that we have out of the US that is local. And it was truly amazing for me because I met with so many professionals there. The team there threw a party for us, and we met with hundreds of professionals that are already using Houzz, even before launching it officially. And the love and the excitement and about how great are the homeowners that they meet through Houzz, and how wonderful the platform is, and how we really help them to change their business and the way they're working with their clients. And it's just so exciting to talk to people that just love what you do. So choose something that you're truly, truly passionate about. That's all what I can say.
Were there, with all the organic growth and momentum, what kinds of failures did you have early on? Were you experimenting quickly? Were you, what things happened that you didn't expect that you got wrong?
Well, I think that if you want to be an innovator and if you are, in the path of disrupting an industry, you have to, take into consideration that some decisions that you're going to make are going to be a mistake. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to launch something and then discover that the users actually don't like it. But then you just need to realize it and change it quickly. Hopefully, you don't make too many mistakes and you're not just built on mistakes all the time. But you can't innovate without making mistakes, period. And that's perfectly fine. It's part of the process. So obviously, we rolled out some things that our users were very vocal, and they told us we actually wanted it a different way, and we changed it. It happens all the time. Or you make a wrong hire. We are really trying to avoid that. We put a lot of emphasis on hiring the right people. The hiring process is something that we take, very, very seriously. But sometimes you make mistakes, so you just fix them.
You've always focused on solving the customer's pain, and I'd love to know, why, and you see this with a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the Valley, where we'll go out and we'll say, well, how am I going to build this product? Or how am I going to just get the right team and I'm not going to, not that focusing on the team is a bad thing, but I'm not going to speak with the customers, or I'm going to go raise funding. I'm going to just go hustle and try to get venture capitalists excited about my idea. And I wonder what you have seen. You've had the completely different approach of being, customer-driven, product-driven, and then seeing the venture capitalists and the funding come from that. What has your experience been like with that?
So again, we bootstrapped it without even understanding that what we're doing is bootstrapping, right? Because we built it for a long time without bringing investors on board. And then by the time we decided to turn it into a real company, we already had an established community, traffic, a product that people loved, and investors that came to us and loved to invest in the company. So that was a good experience. But
how long was that? How long until you raised your first funding?
So we were doing it for over a year before we actually raised the first round.
And did you have people coming to you saying, hey, we want to fund you?
So we started getting inquiries, and that was the story of Houzz in every single round. And it's always the best, get the investors come to you and get the money when you actually don't need the money. You put yourself in a better position. But in general, and in retrospect, when I'm looking back, I think that was an amazing thing that happened to us. Because many times I see entrepreneurs spending the first 6 months to 1 year chasing investors, convincing them that they have a great idea, that they're going to be able to execute that idea. And the truth is, most of us are not serial entrepreneurs, so we have to prove that we can actually execute, and we know what we're talking about, right? And then I see and I feel really sorry for entrepreneurs that just go and meet with the investors and then they tell them, go and change your deck. This is not the right direction. You have to do it differently. And then they go back to the office and start brainstorming, and then they go back to the next investor, implementing all the great points that they've got from the previous investor. And guess what? The new investor is telling them something completely different because the hype have changed in the last few weeks, and this investor writes something else in the newspaper. Sorry, we do have great investors, and I do love them, but there are some investors like that out there. And this is bad because it's not about the investors. It's about us as entrepreneurs believing in something, thinking, that this is the right way to do it, being very, very passionate about them. And somebody from the outside, without even knowing us, is judging us and telling us that they know better how to do this job. So go and create your own company if you know better how to do this job. But really, it's about the entrepreneurs. And what I say to entrepreneurs, go, take the first 6 months to 1 year and just build the most amazing product that you completely believe in. Bring the best people on board that you can. Bootstrap it. We didn't have vacations. We didn't have lean pockets to sponsor it, but we kept it very, very lean. And we learned how to do everything by ourselves. By the time we've got the investors, we were so knowledgeable, which was amazing. And again, we were able to pick the best investors because there were no doubts anymore that we know what we're talking about, that we really have something good in our hand and we can execute. And that's all what they want. So if I would have to do it again, I would do it the same way. I would just invest the time and energy to prove to everyone, including myself, that this is a good idea and other people like it and I can execute it. And then the investors will come.
So for that first year, you bootstrapped. Had you saved money? Were you already profitable and monetizing from the very beginning?
No monetization. Even though it wasn't easy for us, we actually said it's all about the product, the user experience, and we have to really focus on building something right here. So we stayed away from putting Google ads or any other forms of advertising on the site. It was all about building the product and building the community, and it just paid off later on.
Yeah, and the you know, you have this marketplace and where you have the architects and the contractors and the designers, and then you have the consumers. You know, as you're building that, how did you keep the balance of having enough of the experts in there and getting those people on board to take, you know, time out of their day to invest into this? You know, I've heard you mention that you have contractors and other people who make 80% of their livelihood from your site now, but that couldn't have been the case at the very beginning, I assume. So how did you convince those people? And how do you maintain that balance of the people that are the experts and the people that need the experts?
I think that it was about bringing the community together and really providing them, listening to them, and creating the tools that would be good for them. And don't forget, we were, you know, these users. We are still remodeling our own house until today. We got so trapped with Houzz that we keep remodeling all the time. It's a never-ending project. People are asking us how is it to run the company together, and we always say it's much easier than actually renovating our own house. This is really, it's not funny anymore. But the truth was, we just brought the community together, and we listened to people, and we listened to ourselves, and we asked everyone, what is it that is not working here? We didn't try to replicate something that was already there. The industry was there. The solution wasn't. This was a very, very, you know, fragmented, almost primitive, I would say, industry with no technology. So while you're thinking of other things in your life where you already used to do everything online, this one wasn't. And so we just built it this way. And people were truly passionate of being part of that process. And all of a sudden, it was the first time that this community of homeowners and professionals started working together towards something that so many people were passionate about. And it just worked. I didn't have to convince them, really.
Where did the passion come from? Is it because you solved the pain so well, or was it was so new and different that, I mean, where did the passion for the product come from? How did that spark start?
I think it was a combination of a few things. First of all, people really care about their homes. As you said before, we all live in a house, and many of us do care about where do we live. I always talk about
Depends
it
if
like...
you rent or not, but yeah.
Even if you rent, it doesn't matter. You want to, you know, this is who you are. I always talk about it, okay, you either buy a house or rent a house, this is your right side of the brain. You kind of make the decision, this is how much money I have, this is the school district that I want, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, this is what I can afford, bang, go and do it. This is what I can do. And then it comes to your left side. This is who I am, this is where I go to sleep at night, this is where I raise my kids, this is where I want to get up in the morning, this is how I want to feel when I get back from work, home from work, this is where I want to meet my friends, this is where I want to feel good about myself. And I think that many people want to feel very, very good about it, but the whole process was really frightening and felt like almost impossible, like it's expensive, like, you know, the service providers are not good and products are not there, and I have something in my mind, but how can I even do that? So many friction, and I think that by bringing everybody together and making it very simple and creative and fun, people got really excited about it.
You all have kind of a maniacal focus on, you know, solving this pain, and, you know, I have heard that you know, at times you have not done partnerships, whether it was with a celebrity or somebody else that you might say, oh wow, this is going to be great PR, but you've said, no, this is not totally in line with what we're focused on. And I wonder if you could talk about that, how you've had that focus, and for entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out where to put their chips and where to put their time, how they can maintain their focus on what is truly important with the product?
This is a great question because, again, it all goes back to being very, very focused, especially in early days. You just don't have the resources and the time to go and do everything. And once you start seeing the growth, lots of opportunities start coming your way, including, monetization options, partnership opportunities, and I think it can be a distraction. If you start doing one-offs, things that are not in line with what you're supposed to do. So the best thing to do is just say, okay, this is who we are, this is where we want to get, this is the path to get there, and nothing that is not in that way is going to be, done at the moment. And you have to say no to money, and you have to say no to some partnerships. Some of them are very appealing, just because it's not relevant, and it's going to be a distraction. And you just don't do it. Focus is everything, definitely in early stages.
But you have 200 employees, and more than 200 employees now. You have offices and people and territories around the world. Can't you do everything? I mean, at this point, you have the resources. You have you have funding from the best investors in the world. So can't you can just build anything, right? I mean, isn't it that easy?
No. It's not easy at all.
But 200 people, I mean, geez.
200 people, but 20 million people that we're supporting, and believe me, they have long, long lists of things that we still need to do for them, right? And we want to please our community every single day. So we're still a small company comparing to the people in the community and what we're trying to do for this industry. And it's such a big industry with so many frictions and things to fix that if we won't be focused, we will just get lost. No, it's not getting easier, but it's getting more and more fun every day.
It's getting more what? Fun?
Fun, yes.
Look, you have all these people you're managing. They're on the team.
I'm not managing them. They are my partners.
They
are my partners.
You have the investors. They have these huge expectations of what you must become. Your family's getting bigger.
Yeah,
you're still building your home with your husband.
That's true.
I mean, aren't there?
First of all, it's not boring. It's never boring. I promised my husband when we got married it will never be boring. He's definitely telling me I kept my promise till today. But it's true, I'm saying always, all the great things are happening to us probably around the same time in life. Unfortunately, we can't have kids or be at the peak of our careers when we are 15 and usually not when we are 80. So, all these things are happening around the same time, and we should just say thank you and enjoy every moment of it. It's really great. And the fact that we have 200 people, first of all, I just have more partners and people that helps us innovate every day. These are not employees, really. We handpicked every single one of them, and they are doing an amazing job of helping us to build this. And in terms of investors, it's going back to what I said before. If you put yourself in the right position that you can actually pick and choose the best investors, then you should be in a point that not just you get the best investors, they also work for you and not you work for them. And the best investors will tell you that. We are here not to make you work for us. We are here to make you tell us how we can help you. And this is the type of investors that we have.
We talked about focus. You have a family, and I'd love to know, I have kids as well. This is something I think about a lot. I struggle with at times, but this idea of this kind of stereotypical entrepreneur that we read about that's like, he's always working or she's always working 7 days a week. They don't have time for anything else but their startup. This decision that you have made to do these things at the same time, how do you do the balancing act with those things? How do you maintain your relationship with your family and still run a successful company? How do you think about these things?
So first of all, I do have 3 kids. I had 2 when Houzz started, and last year I decided to add 1. It's just that it will be more interesting. It's a lot of fun.
Is that something we can find on Houzz? Do you have children that you can paste into the...
No.
Okay, no children. It's a feature, it's coming.
But really, kids are the best startup on earth. at least for me. And I love my kids to death, and they are very, very important to me. At the same time, Houzz is another child, and I love them all. And if you want, you don't have to, first of all. I'm telling to other women, and I'm very happy to see that there are some of them here in the audience. First of all, we are very, very lucky that we are, now at this century where women can actually choose what is it that they want. They want to stay at home, they want just to have a career, they want to have them both. It's perfectly fine. It's a personal decision. But it's possible. If you want to do them both, it's possible. It's just a matter of priorities. And I'm trying to really, I know that the word focus, is coming again and again and again when we're talking about Houzz, but really also when it comes to the kids, it's a matter of how do you balance everything and how do you focus on the things that will be the most important to you and to your family and to the company and to the people around you. So I'm trying. And don't forget, the company is growing and my kids are growing. So I need to kind of invent myself every month because their needs are changing and the company needs are, changing all the time. It's fun. It's challenging. It's never boring.
It is challenging, but life is challenging, and it could be worse, right?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful, really. It's not always just glory and fame, and we do go through hard times. As I always say, it's like a really, really, crazy roller coaster of good days and good things that happen to you and bad things. But as long as the direction is up and you keep the good spirit and enjoy it, it's wonderful.
We're going to take some questions here in just a minute. Our hashtag is StartupGrind. I feel like people talk about, picking the right co-founder dating, all this stuff. I feel like people are so overeducated on it. But, your circumstance is so unique. And, I have an amazing wife. I've been married for 8 years. Marriage is hard. Right? Mm-hmm. It's hard. It's for everyone I know that's honest about it. Marriage is hard, and running a business is very hard. Yep. And you do the same. You do both of those with the same person.
Mm-hmm. I do.
And I think you have one husband, right? I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
I do have one husband.
It's the same guy. That's
one husband.
Okay. How in the world do you do this? I mean, honestly, it just my brain. I mean, I'm not really smart, but even for me, it's very difficult to understand how you could possibly balance those two relationships at the same time. I mean, what do? Do you, I don't even know where to start. It's just it sounds crazy to me.
It's crazy, but if you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. Because as a co-founder, I have the person that I trust the most, that I love the most, that I'm already used to building things together. Think about it. We renovate together, which is much harder, as I said, in running a company. We raised 3 kids together. The company is not, it's just all the fun. We've been together for many, many years. It's not for everyone, but for us, it worked very well. We actually complement each other. We have different skill set, and we work very well together. Again, it's not for everyone. It worked very well for us.
Most companies, co-founders, split up. They hate each other. One gets, sued, the other one doesn't. Who do you? When this happens to you guys, who are you going to talk to about it? Because usually people talk to their spouse that this is going to happen. I mean, I'm just kidding. This is not happening. Everyone's like, seriously? Is this going to, there are things that probably happen in the company. Do you guys talk about everything? Do you say some things like, we're just not going to talk about these things? Or when we get home, we're not going to talk about this certain thing? Or
So you really have to be very, very, tough with yourself when it comes to boundaries. What do you do at work and what do you do at home? And it's hard. But we worked on it over the years, and it's getting better and better. The fact that we have kids that reminds us, no cell phones, no laptops, and we say, okay, but you too. So it's really good. again, it's a challenge, but if you compare it to other co-founders that may have conflict of interest, trust issues, they're coming from different backgrounds, they may have different vision of, how do they want the company to grow or not, or exits. All these things, does not exist. We have just one interest. This is just our baby. We're growing it together, and it's like, raising your child. You don't always agree, but you find a way to, compromise and make it something that you're both proud of. And this is how we treat Houzz. Actually, people in the company do see us from time to time, like going forth and back between us and, teasing each other, but it's all just the fun stuff, really. I think I would say we work very well together because we are really good friends and we trust each other, and trust is very, very important. So even if you're not going to have a company with your spouse, you should choose somebody that you truly trust and you think is going to be fun to work with for the long term.
Let's give a big round of applause for Alon. Thank you very much.